because how your date goes with a person depends largely on your energy. So let's look at the pre-date checklist. What needs to be done? 1, state. You need to make sure, well, almost all of it is state. Let's go a little bit more granular. Make sure you do your 5-minute gratitude meditation in the morning. This increases your energy, she'll respond to your energy. Number 2, affirmation, the following. You only need 1 affirmation before you go to the date. If this is meant to be, right, this one. Some of you know it, some of you don't. If this is meant to be, there's nothing in the world that I can do to fuck this up. If this is not meant to be, there's nothing in the world that I can do to make it work. Before the date. Now, in a macro, you obviously want to improve your communication skills. That's why you guys are here, to learn the strategies and the frameworks and the tactics. But before you go on the date, the only thing that makes sense to have as a thought present in your head is, if this is meant to be, there's nothing in the world that I can do to fuck this up. And if it's not meant to be, there's nothing in the world that I can do to make this work. Next, play the question game, or have it ready, right? Have the question game and the palm reading game, right? Make sure you have that ready so you don't forget that. So you play that every single time. Just like remember to play beforehand. Remember to play, right? 4, phone call to friend. Social flow, very important, that you call a friend on your way to the date. Extremely, extremely important. If you have time, you can have a cold shower and sing. Number 6, remember past successful dates. And not just remember, but visualize. You visualize past successful dates. Because if you show up to the date and you remember, I've done this before. And it can even be moments of a past relationship. Even if the relationship ended, there were times where it went well. Remember a time when a woman was really excited about you. Maybe you connected intimately, spiritually. You had a fantastic time. The words just flowed out of your mouth perfectly. Because the way you feel has a massive impact on how you show up on the date. Guys, can you be quiet, please? Thank you. And so, my videographer being a bit loud. And so, yell at somebody, that also helps, right? Use your voice, have a vocal pattern interrupt. And so, now they fucked with my train of thought. By the way, if this happens to you on the date, if you ever lose your train of thought, the only thing you cannot do is be insecure about it. Anybody can lose their train of thought. Anybody can forget what they were talking about. The one thing you cannot do is be insecure and not own it. Whatever happens on the date is to remember to own it. Right? Why am I not insecure about losing my train of thought? Well, one, because I've done thousands of these calls, right? But also, maybe not thousands, 1,000, 2,000, I don't know. But there's history, there's experience, but also because I just understand the principle of owning it. If you just continue, there's no issue. The one thing that's going to make women question your character and that's going to turn them off, like very few other things, is you being insecure. So if you lose your train of thought ever, by the way, that can be in a work presentation, just own it. Say, oh, I just lost my train of thought. And then just continue. You check in your notes and you continue. Anybody's been in that situation. The one thing you cannot do is be insecure about it. And you can just decide to never be insecure around something like that ever again. Same like awkwardness. I posted a video about that on Instagram yesterday, saying awkwardness does not exist. There is no element called AW on the periodic chart for awkwardness. Awkwardness is a meaning you give the situation. And you can just refuse to never feel insecure or awkward ever again. So, step 6, actually visualize it. Now, while you're driving, please keep your eyes open. But beforehand, remember, oh, I've done this before. And actually don't just think it. See it, feel it, go into the situation and remember dates going well, because that then primes how you show up. And your mental and your emotional state dictates your storytelling, because there's something called state-dependent memory. You will only be able to access all the stories that are in there, and they're in there, if you manage your state. Obviously, Module 8 goes way, 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 way deeper than this. But this is just a short summary of the things you can do before the date. Let's see, what else can you do before the date? If you want to, you can do affirmations. They're good for some, not so useful for others. And remember, this is pick and choose, right? The good thing about affirmations is you actually start talking. Because if you're just doing admin work and you're not talking for 3 hours and then you get to the date, the words simply won't come out. You'll mumble. But if you're in flow already, it's so much easier. You know how much easier it is for me to go and start conversations, to do an approach, or to do anything if I was in flow already beforehand? That makes it so much easier. But you have to put yourself in that state. If you just hope to be in a good and confident state, by the time you get to the date, you'll fuck it up. So you have to demand that you will be in that state. 8, body language. Not body language for her, but body language as a priming mechanism, right? Change how you walk. That doesn't have to be Connor walking through the octagon, but the difference between shoulders down, shoulders back a little bit. Gunther Schmidt, one of Germany's best psychologists, says, wie es dir geht, so geht's. Wie du gehst, so geht's. How you're going, that's how it's going. Because how you're walking is never neutral. You're always priming a more empowering or a disempowering mental and emotional state. 9, speak with certainty. That doesn't have to mean that you're weird or unrelatable or one of those over-the-top wannabe alpha male blah blah bullshit. No, but you do want to speak with fucking certainty in your voice. You can be calm and certain, or you can be really and certain. Both. Find your own way, find your own volume, find your own authentic way to express yourself. You better add some fucking certainty to your voice. 10, self-validation. You're not seeking her approval. You only want your own. And 11 is just, what's the only purpose? You just ask yourself, what's my only purpose on this date? Freedom of expression plus connection, plus, now here's the key, curiosity. That means I don't need the day to go well. You don't need a kiss. You don't need to have intimacy by the end of the date. None of that. You just want to be really free in your expression. How free can I be? While obviously still being calibrated. You obviously still want to be calibrated. But if you can just express yourself as freely as possible, be as radically honest, and you connect, you focus on connecting, not weird, not overly vulnerable, not too much deep talk that's going to turn all of them off. It's going to be too heavy, but genuine connection to another human being without wanting anything in return, because they can smell your agenda. And then you're curious. Curious means, she's beautiful. I hope I like her. Because most of you tell yourself, oh, she's beautiful. I hope she likes me. No, she's beautiful. I hope I like her. She's beautiful. Let's see if we're compatible. If you focus on that, use that as a checklist, a pre-date checklist, your dates are going to go so much better.